Welcome to Keeper of My Home. We are so excited because today we have Sister Marlys Simoni with us. And I'm going to go ahead and let her introduce herself. Sister Simoni, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Marlys Simoni. Some of you might know me as Marlys Young, but I am Marlys Simoni. I live in Lake Charles, Louisiana. I met my husband when I was an aimer to Athens, Greece, and we got married, and then we returned back to the United States, and we had 2 children, and now we reside in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Growing up in a preacher's home can sometimes feel like you're living in a glass house because everybody can see you are the example. You are to be leading the example. I wouldn't say it was easy, but I feel like I was privileged to be in a pastor's home. I loved my life. My parents were very involved with us, and they included us in all of the different activities at the church. So church was basically our second home, sometimes our first home. In my life, my mother was very much involved in church. If the church needed cleaning, Mom was there to clean it. Mother was down in the kitchen cooking with all the other ladies. If we had an event, we hosted a lot of things in our home, always serving, taking care of people. And she just led by that example. And of course, praying. I'd always hear my mom in the evenings in her bedroom praying for us. And that's always stood out in my mind, that she was just very involved in the kingdom, not just being up on the platform leading the choir or directing the music or, this type of thing, but she was down working, cleaning, whatever needed to be done. Mom was always right in the middle of it. Missions was always a part of my life, either being with my parents or my grandparents. My grandparents were missionaries all over the world. And then my dad was the foreign missions director for over 20 years in the District of Louisiana. So he did a lot of missions work. And I always had a love for missions. And I felt like I would be called to missions. I just felt like that one day I would end up being on the missions field, not knowing what God's plan would be. And as a young lady going to the missions field myself, different AIM journeys, going and spending a year to 2 years in different places, just instilled that in with me even more. And then I eventually, later in life, actually met my husband. We didn't get married till I was 36, but I was actually doing an AIM work in Greece. And you never know what God's plan is for you until you're right in it. You're like, well, this is the way he had it planned. The way the missions turned out. And then we returned to the States, had our children, and then just brought them up for a love for missions. We made it a point to be able to go back to his country. We traveled a lot with our children, introduced them to all the different cultures, and they were in many different areas of the United States, different church cultures, I would say. From the South, then we were out on the West Coast, and then we went further and went to Alaska. So there was many different environments that they were in just say the church world. I can't say that I always did everything perfect, but I wanted them to get a clear vision of what missions was all about and our mission here, wherever we are. And as they got older, they started developing things for themselves, and not quite sure. Annika is a very smart young lady. I say she takes a lot after my grandmother, who was my dad's mother, who was a young minister in her own right. And I just feel like that call transferred into Annika. And once she got a hold of that and she got it instilled for herself, not just what mom taught her, her grandmother or other people taught her, but she went and got it deep for herself and has just walked into that calling.
That is beautiful, Sister, and your son as well.
Yes.
That
And that's when I always said that one day I would be on the mission field, not knowing what God's plan and purpose was. Uh, I am in a way still on the missions field because it's even gone further because now my children are. And I never would have dreamed that it would turn out that way, but I'm so thankful and glad that they've walked into that calling and God has put that in their hearts to just win souls. They love souls. They want to see them won to the Lord.
Amen. What is some advice that you could give us younger mothers and things that want to leave a legacy for our children, and then also to help our children, like you said, get it for themselves?
Just keep on keeping on. Stand strong. Sometimes it gets hard and gets tough and you think you're just ready to say I can't do this, but with God's help we can do all things and we're overcomers.
Man, well, thank you so much for for being with us today, and I hope it's not the last time. There's so much information and word that you could give us, and we can glean so much wisdom from you. And thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. Okay, bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.